Hey guys, this is Eli, and I'm doing something that I don't typically do, which is some rolling footage with some voiceover. But that's what all the cool kids are doing right now. So I decided that, and after a lot of requests for this kind of stuff, that I would go ahead and do it. So here I'm going to show some rolling footage that I have with a brown belt of mine, Tarek. And yeah, this is a little roll that we had that I went ahead and put on video. And I'm going to do a little bit of commentary over it to kind of explain what's going on during this. I went ahead and slowed it down so that we can kind of isolate some things and to make it a little bit easier to point out like the different details of what's going on, because some of it is obvious and apparent, other parts are not quite as obvious, so I have to kind of explain what my thinking was, what I was doing on purpose, what I screwed up, what he screwed up, what we both did well. And anyway, so that's where we're going to go with it. So starting out here, we're going to back it up. We start with him going shin to shin, but I pummel inside, starting a knee cut, but I decide to shin staple instead because I know he's going to try to get that knee shield in. I want to collapse that space. I immediately try to get to north-south where I can monitor his hips a little better. My hand on one side, my head on the other, and I want to find that space for that Kimura, but it's just not happening. I switch back to knee on belly there. From knee on belly, I want to fight kind of create a dilemma between the knee on belly position, side control, and north-south, because that gives him a lot to think about positionally, and he's trying to find the best place for his frames to be able to create that space. And he does a good job. He's really strong with his frames, but what he does in pushing me out of north-south position is gives me access to be able to threaten mount, but whenever his legs start to come into the equation, I just pass sides. I feed back to give him that little quarter guard position, and I want to get his hand out of the equation because I know what I want to set up. So I step on his wrist there, and I start to feed his collar around to pass it to my backhand here. He's fighting position a little bit too much with my feeding hand, but it's too late because I already get the grip. From there, I just need to clear the leg and then hop back behind his legs here to start setting up my back position. From there, I already start to kind of like threaten the straitjacket controls, and I want to get that second hand out of the equation. He's worried too about the Kimura, that's why he's hiding his hand. So I start trying to pummel my hook inside, and to get his mind off of the position a little bit, I already start to threaten that choke. So I'm threatening a sliding collar choke right here. I've got my bottom hook in, that's the main hook I'm concerned with. I'm stepping on his hip to stop his hip mobility a little bit. That's what's gonna eventually lead to him trying to escape. From here, I go ahead and threaten the rear naked choke, even though I want the collar choke because it's a little bit more immediate. I've got his hand trapped, his primary hand that he can defend with. From there, again, I'm still threatening, but I really just want that short choke or to be able to open up the space to get back to my collar choke from here. I get my second hook inside at this point. Tarek is gonna set up and he's gonna try to like open that for like that parachute type of escape, but I reel him back in and the threat of the choke is too immediate. He knows he's got to defend the hands. From there, I've got a good bite on the choke. I get a hit on his pant leg and I'm able to complete the bow and arrow. As we start over again, I'm gonna take the bottom position here and I'm gonna start working in to try to get my hook on the bottom, creating some frames just to not give up too terribly much, but I let him pass my knee shield. He starts to feed the lapel underneath. I know he likes that control a lot. He can start to set up a good threat for a pass, but I use my I pummel in my butterfly hook to get some elevation, and that wrap that he had on my lapel actually just exposes his arm, so I get that little arm crush right there. I know I had it, but I let it go so that we can keep on rolling a little bit more. From here, I get my inside collar. He's starting to feed an inside collar grip, which is not a good idea because it takes his ability to stop me X-guard sweeping him right there. From there, I land on my side. That was a pretty lazy move, honestly, but I got a good bite on his far side leg. I threatened a little bit of a toe hold, which really had nothing on it, but I mainly just wanted to be able to pull that secondary leg across. I threatened the knee bar right there. It was pretty solid, but again, we pass it up so we can keep on going. We're flowing to a big degree here. Of course, we're both hunting for submissions, but we're also kind of catching or releasing things. I let him get around toward my back here. He's starting to fish in for my collar, which is kind of hard to see on that grip right there just because it's obfuscated a little bit. But from here, I know he's wanting to set up that clock choke. I managed to knee tap him to get him over on the side because I felt his weight was off, and it was, luckily, so I was able to get back on top. I've got a little bit of I've got a quarter guard working here. I back step into a saddle position. And I try to keep him pulled heavy to his left side so that I can kind of expose his legs a little bit. I don't fight for the heel hooks. I'm trying to, whenever I go in the gi, I try to, like, you know, be respectful of like rules and regulations, because gi is for sport. You know, it's not no gi where we can play for the heels. So I only want to attack the free leg, which would be you know, IBJJF legal or whatever. So I go here, I'm biting in on that ankle. He's going to tap to that straight ankle lock right there. So this time I'm going to give up bottom position, and he's going to take a big step and go straight to mount, which I just kind of conceded that. I like to make my head really heavy, but he does a good job of isolating my head and arm right off the bat, so that was a good thing. And here I know he's kind of trying to feed in, and he's trying to funnel up my arm. I know he's not really going for that Americana, so I don't really pay much attention to that threat, but I do try to make a good effort to keep my head heavy and not allow him to easily get underneath my head before he, you know, forces his way in. And here he does a good job of getting in under my head. He's got that lapel already funneled up, but again, he makes kind of the same mistake as last time, as far as, yeah, he exposes his arm and he gives me that arm crush one more time. I like that arm crush a whole lot, and here we both recognize it because it was the second time that I caught it. So once we laugh that off a little bit, we start over again, and again I'm gonna start seated here. He's looking for the grip that he wants. He's a little indecisive about it, and meanwhile I get my left hand grip, which is what I wanted. I want to pummel my foot inside to the collarbone because that's going to create the best frame that I can while I establish my kind of spider guard grips. I pummel my leg back inside. I'm thinking either I want that foot to the bicep or shin to shin to be able to kick his leg out from underneath him. I then bail off of the sleeve and go into the cross-side collar with my left hand. I'm wanting that sweep because I feel how off balance he is, but he does a good job of like getting his legs back underneath him and squaring back up to me. I think for a second, since I got that deep left hand, about a little loop choke, but he's a little too wise for that. So since I got him thinking up top, I go down to his ankle pick him, and then stand up for that little sweep right there. He does a good job keeping his frames in the way, so I can't immediately just drop into pass, but then I back step and then I pass up too. Here I'm stepping over. I'm going to try to isolate his legs. He's been there a lot before, so he shrimps really hard. I don't want to get stuck back here in half or quarter guard, so I pummel my foot out on top of his legs, and then I'm looking for the back take right here once I get that arm isolated in that gift wrap position. Here we are to a similar position as we started before. I get my secondary hook inside here. Typically from this side, I would play cross legs between his legs, but here I've got my second leg inside because I know kind of what I think he's wanting to do to escape. He's really wanting to kill that bottom hook because that's what makes the position so strong. So I go back to immediately threatening his neck so that he can't concentrate too much on getting that leg out. Here he's trying to keep me off of that second hand because he needs that to defend. So he's got both hands in now, but it's not quite sufficient enough with that collar choke, and I allow my second leg to come out, and then I re-pummel to be able to get over here, kill his top defending arm with my leg, and then that gives me enough torque and enough leverage to hit that bow and arrow choke once again right there. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope that you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you have any questions, make sure to leave me a comment, and I'll try to put out more footage like this in the future. I'll also have exclusive footage over on my Patreon, so be sure to go over there, and if you'd be so kind as to join that, there's lots of exclusive stuff like class footage, seminar footage, and I try to keep that updated as frequently as possible, so lots of things over there. You can also join this channel and get exclusive footage as well. So anyway, I appreciate the support on Patreon. Follow me on Instagram, and hit me up with any seminar opportunities. My schedule stays pretty booked up, but I love doing seminars, and I'm happy to come to your place and do one. So once again, guys, thank you so much for all the support and for watching my channel over the years. It means the world to me. Thanks again.